What's up, everyone? All right, so in today's episode, I'm going to break down my trades from the morning. I am sitting in the green, which is great because, number one, I was red on Friday. So put the red day behind me. Now I'm in the green. That feels good. It's also the first day of the new month. So starting the month off with a small winner is definitely better than the alternative, which, well, I guess could be a no trade day, but a red day was definitely to be avoided today. So locking up a little bit of profit, and guess what? It's on the same stock that I lost on Friday. So if we jump onto the screen share, we will see that on Friday I was down $6,742.95 on BATL. Today I am up $6,831 on BATL, which means I have a profit of about $90, $89 over the last 2 days. Wow, that feels good. All right, it doesn't feel that great, but I'm actually a little bit disappointed because today was one of those days. Let's see, I'm just gonna adjust my settings here. So today was one of those days where we had, because of the conflict going on in the Middle East, I expected today we would see some momentum across oil, energy stocks. So when I checked the futures last night, the S&P was down a little bit and the oil futures were up. They peaked at about 12% gain yesterday and then last night, and then they pulled back a little bit. So I kind of wondered if, maybe oil was not really up enough to be statistically significant. Was it up? Sure, but was it up enough? I wasn't really sure it was. So I was starting to get a little bit worried, especially when I sat down this morning, that we had a couple of energy stocks that were up, but none of them were up a ton, and that maybe this wasn't going to work out super well. So I took a couple trades on BATL, and I actually gave back about 70% of my profit. Ugh, that is a little disappointing. In fact, unrealized, I was certainly up over $20,000 today, probably close to $25,000. And then I caught one of the biggest jackknife rejections of the day. So why don't we jump onto the charts and start breaking down my trades from the morning. So BATL, it's the only stock I trade, as you could see here. When I first sat down this morning, predictably, INDO had popped up at 4 a.m., right? So Indonesian Energy Corp. This one typically does pop up when oil prices go up. And so you got that spike from 550 all the way up to just under 10, and then it pulled back. So when I was sitting down at about 6:45, 7 a.m., to me, I looked at this and I was like, well, it's just going sideways. It's not that interesting. Does it have a little bit of range here? Sure, it has a little bit of range, but it's mostly just going sideways. I don't like it. So INDO was off the list. TPET, this one had hit the scanners at 4 a.m., but it's too cheap. So I didn't trade it. It's gone higher, but I said, no, it's too cheap. I'm going to leave this one alone. So I left that one alone. TMDE, this one hit the scanner at 4 a.m., squeezes all the way up to this peak at about 5:30 in the morning, and then unwinds. Now it's coming back down. So a very clear distinction here. First pullback, awesome. Second pullback, third pullback, then big topping tail, rejection. That's high of day, and it comes back down off that level. So by 7 a.m., there was no trade to be had on this one, unfortunately. So that one was off the radar, or off the list. And then there were a couple others, but they were lower on the scans. But this also represented a challenge because there were 5 or 6 different stocks that were all up quite a bit. And so we had dispersed attention. And we didn't have such a strong catalyst that any one of these stocks were able to do something really exceptional. I suppose, again, TMDE did go up over 200% here, but then came back down. Attention shifted to other stocks. TPET is now up 183%, but to me it's too cheap. Now it's halted down. So BATL, I didn't really think was going to work because also at 4 a.m. it popped up and then it pulled back. However, it curled back up right here, and I traded this curl, and we got a double top, essentially, a retest of the previous high. So let me get this dialed in on the 1-minute chart and show you my trade. So first trade on this, it curls up right here at 6:45, no trades. Curls back up at 7 a.m., no trades. It drops back down. And then it curls back up right here, and I got in at $11 a share. That was my first entry. I got in at 11. It goes all the way up here to about 12, and I took 75% of it off the table. So I took profit off the table right here. And then I added back for the break of 12, first 1 minute candle to make a new high. I sold into this pop here and was up 14,000 on the day. Now I have a cushion. I'm feeling confident. What do? I punch the buy button. And I actually added, well, you can see right here, I added at 58, 64, 69, 73, 77, 81. As it was squeezing up, I was looking for the breakthrough $13 a share, and I was thinking a squeeze to $13.50 or $14. Based on the fact that this was surging on volume right here, it was the most obvious stock at that moment, I thought for sure we had just broken through this level right here of the high. So now I'm like, it's game time. I was expecting shorts would cover. I thought we were going to get a really nice squeeze, and I was let down in a pretty big way. So what ends up happening is it peaks at the high here of 90, and then it tanks all the way down here to 12. It bounces back up for a second, and I'm cutting my loss here, 1241, cut a good chunk of it. And then 1236, 1231, 1234, 1225, 1217, and 1191. Selling as it dropped. And it dropped all the way back down to $11 a share. Bounces back up for a second, then goes lower, and that was it. What a disappointment. So, so then at that point, I went from having, yes, I was unrealized, in the green as we were coming up there to 13, and then suddenly I'm in the red, and I lost about, well, I guess it was probably $8,000 on that trade. I went from up 14,000 in realized profit to up, as you can see here, 6,800. But I also had unrealized profit that disappeared. So in any case, to me, that felt quite defeating. I was very disappointed. But it was, on the other hand, only 7:15 in the morning, right? It was still pretty early. So I thought, well, it's early. But I felt that the chart on BATL was ruined. We had the topping tail earlier and then a second one, and that concerned me. And so then I said, well, what are we going to do now? Even if this curled up again, now we would have ascending resistance right through here. So I just was like, man, this is not going to work. All right, so that one's off the table. And then that was 710. So then it was, all right, well, let's watch the high day momentum scanner and see if anything else pops up. And we did get a couple of headlines. TURB, this one popped up with news right here, went from 80 cents to $1.60. It's halted up again right now. I looked at it. I thought to myself, it's too cheap. I just don't think I would do well on it. Now, as it turns out, there have been two stocks today that were cheaper that both performed well, but I left them alone. So, I just don't tend to do well on those cheaper stocks, and so I stuck with my gut on that. So BATL at that point, let's see. Yeah, that was where it hit 132% green on the day, which was pretty impressive. So then we had a couple higher price stocks hit the scanner. This one, a couple others. Then TURB hits. QTTB hit the scanner at 8:15, pops for a second, then nothing. TURB lighting up the scanner for a bit there. Then let's see. BATL, little bounce at the open. And that was it. All of a sudden now it's coming up to 10 a.m. and there's just, there's nothing safe. So that's a little discouraging. The S&P 500 right now is rallying back up a bit. So we had a gap down right here, but then now it's coming back up. So I guess I would say that it seems like, this is a gap in U.S. oil. So, a gap there, but I don't know. I think realistically, if we were going to get a big move in these energy stocks like what we had in 2022, the prices need to go a bit higher. So, I don't know if that's going to happen. All right, so today, hey, you know what? It makes up for Friday's loss. It's the first day of the new month, so slow and steady wins the race. Showing up, getting green, that's good. Taking my foot off the gas before I spiral and go deep into the red, that's good. So that's where we're at here. It's Monday morning. I'm in the green there. I'm grateful for that. Yes, did I get back profit off the top? Of course, but I could have kept going, and I stopped. I stopped right then and there. And so I think that's just similarly, on Friday, I went red and then I stopped, right? I stopped immediately and that was it. And so the good thing about that was that the loss on Friday was manageable, right? I had mentioned on Friday that if I kept trading, I had an 80% probability of doubling my loss based on my statistics of what happens when I'm down beyond max loss. And I'd set my max loss at $5,000. So I was down more than max loss, which was losing more than I'd been making on average during the last 7 days. And so I knew if I kept trading, I was 80% chance of doubling that loss, going down to 12,000, maybe more. Those days I've gone down, to 10x the original loss because I really spiral. So I took my foot off the gas, I stopped. And that meant that it was easier to recover that loss. In fact, I had recovered all of it when I was up 15 grand and I was, up 7,000 plus, after recovering the loss. But anyways, gave back some of that. So that is what it is. But sitting here and I suppose grateful that I didn't catch a second max loss day in a row. And that's good. And I'm hopeful that we have better opportunities in the coming days. So that's it for me. Staying disciplined, trying really hard not to overstay my welcome during these choppier markets. And I think that that's going to be the name of the game. So for Warrior Pro members, we're going to go over the live archives from today's trades. Those will get, I'm going to give my commentary on them and then they'll get uploaded to the curriculum so you guys can watch them again later. And for those of you guys tuning in on YouTube, reminder as always, I hope you guys enjoy the content that I put out here. If you do, you can hit the thumbs up, you can subscribe to the channel, or you can check out a 2-week trial here at Warrior Trading where you can watch over my shoulder for 2 weeks as I trade in the market. And you also have access to this software right here for charting, scanning, news, and our chat rooms. So check out the 2-week trial for $20, and I'll remind you, trading is risky. My results aren't typical. So manage your risk, take it slow, and I'll see you guys back here bright and early tomorrow morning.